30th in pass yards allowed, ahead of only the Jaguars and Ravens. Mina, does that trend continue this week against the Chargers?
I do think it does. You know, for all the talk about the Chargers' emphasis on the ground game under Jim Harbaugh, they've been airing it out. Justin Herbert is second in the NFL in 20-yard passes, behind only Sam Darnold. I think that is absolutely the right approach against a Bucs defense that's really injured in the secondary, with the biggest injury, of course, being their star safety, Antoine Winfield Jr. Herbert should absolutely throw it downfield in this one.
How about
Yeah, this is a pretty cool game coming up for the Chargers, because I feel like winning this game would go a long way for believing what they can do. The Buccaneers, they've had kind of a weird season unfold. They've obviously beat some pretty good teams, especially the Lions, obviously, and the Eagles for that matter. But then they dealt with some injuries, and even when they were healthy, I don't think that they were as good as maybe some people thought. But we can see them get destroyed offensively, and the Chargers' offense has not been what you would want it to be, just because of personnel and stuff, and it's going to take time for Harbaugh and Herbert to kind of get situated offensively. But I do agree with Mina, weird to say out loud, but in terms of what the Chargers have been doing and kind of how they're throwing the ball. And that is when that offense picked up against the Chiefs. Like, that's really kind of even my frame of reference, my barometer, when you saw like what changed from the first half to the second half, and it was clearly the passing game. And they clearly were like, Herbert, you're going to need to let it rip. Let's go. You're going to have to throw our way to victory here. And they couldn't just rely on the run game and tough defense and more strategic, surgical passing to kind of get them through. It was really kind of like, yo, let's do this. And so that's why I'm curious to see if they can kind of find a rhythm against this Buccaneers defense, which is given up a lot, honestly, to a lot of different quarterbacks, backup quarterbacks, star quarterbacks. Like, it's honestly like it's been pretty leaky. And so even though the Chargers haven't been lighting it up offensively, I just wonder, where does Harbaugh continue to kind of, what path does he continue to go down? That is one of like the awesome benefits of having a coach like Harbaugh, someone who's just really in so control and confident in himself and as a coach as a whole. When you just really have that mastery over over the game, because you have other younger coordinators or younger coaches, like it's going to be one of those more, I don't want to say fear, but they just don't have the ability to just kind of navigate the ebbs and flows of a season. And you saw this firsthand, actually, with Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, there was a lot of people who were like, don't put Russ in, you got Justin Fields. And there's a lot of these younger coaches that I'm pretty confident would have probably just stuck with Justin Fields, because, hey, we're winning. I'm going to get more in trouble if I make a change, and now we start losing. I'm going to lose the locker room, what I do. And Mike Tomlin's like, nah, man, I've been at this for a long time. I know what my team needs. I know what needs to be done. This is what we're going to do. We're going to make a change. And you see this even with the other offenses, where they stay the same from start to end of the season, because either A, the coach or coordinator is not good enough to make changes, or B, they just they're hesitant because they're having some success, but like not great success. And they're like, what do we do? How do we navigate this? And when you have someone like Harbaugh, you better believe that, like, if they're sticking with the same game plan, whether it's working or not, they know this is our best shot. Yeah, it may not be working how we want it to, but the alternative is just not going to happen, right? There's just nothing we can do here. And the same thing, if they're making a change, they'll just be able to make decisions in ways that you can be confident that they're thoughtful, intentional, and done for the right reasons. And again, you saw that just even against the Chiefs, first half to second half. So that's really where it is, just kind of like in Harbaugh, you trust more than anything. And that's also the benefit of having someone like a Harbaugh, where the team, and especially the quarterback, is going to trust what the coach says. This is what we need to do. It is really that unconditional trust of like, all right, this is where what we're going to attack and how we're going to do it, and not kind of trying to question or undercut. So I'm definitely looking at this game to kind of see what can the Chargers do offensively. It kind of feels, if they can just find a way to marginally increase their threat of a potent offense, of a very potent attack, one that is like kind of like, again, going to cause some problems. It's like that little marginal increase is the difference between beating the Chiefs and losing the Chiefs. And again, they're the number one team in the NFL right now. They got the best record set up for the bye, back-to-back champs. And yet you're like right there able to dethrone them. And so if it's there this season, again, I don't know if it is, but if it's there this season just to kind of squeeze out a little bit more juice out of that offense, it's just you're right there. And I just made a Broncos video talking about this. Like, there's a huge difference between being the 7 seed and the 5 or 6 seed. Like, any of the seeds are going to be stark differences. Are you playing the Chiefs? Are you playing the Bills? Are you playing the Steelers? Are you playing the Texans? I mean, like, those are all wildly different approaches with wildly different stakes involved. So you got to keep winning. I don't think there's as much of a risk. I know they keep trying to act like there's some sort of risk of like maybe not making the playoffs. I don't see it. You would need an absolute epic collapse, which I'm just not seeing, honestly. So I just think though, but even though the risk of not making the playoffs, I think, is low, but the risk of like what can you do once you're in the playoffs really matters here. And so I think coming away with a win against the Buccaneers would go a long way, and trying to get some momentum offensively is probably more important from my viewpoint than even shutting down the Buccaneers. Like, I would rather it be a game that's like, I always make up numbers because who honestly really knows, a 28-21 game and them winning than them winning like a 17-10 game. Or honestly, if it didn't matter from a seeding standpoint, I would rather them lose a game where it's like 35-28 than them win a 17-10 game. Again, if it didn't have any like actual repercussions from a seeding standpoint and stuff like that and playoff picture, I would prefer that, because I want to see that offense. I need to see that offense be a little bit better. And if not, that's totally okay. It's just like, then it's just kind of coming more to grips of like, all right, next year is the year that they're going to be able to do damage. This year, you want to believe that they could surprise some teams in the playoffs. It just seems like you're going to really need every single bounce to go your way. Otherwise, it's just maybe not going to happen. So, it's always just trying to construct as accurate of a picture and as accurate of expectations as you can. I'm very into trying to accurately assess the expectations of any given team, so I know what to expect. Honestly, expectations, expect, like, I don't like to be tricked or fooled, and I want to be able to evaluate something as accurately as I can. And even if I'm wrong, I want to at least make sure that the logic was there more than anything. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Chargers taking on the Buccaneers? Do you think that they'll be able to kind of find some footing with their offense and kind of be a little bit more aggressive and kind of try to build off some of that momentum? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.